Today's music legend that you should know is the Azerbaijani guitarist Elman Namazoglu. A friend of mine turned me on to him a number of years ago, sent me a video on YouTube with these three guitarists, Elman, a guy named Ramin, and a guy named El Akbar, I think was his name, yes. And they're all playing these strange-looking instruments, weird electric guitars with a bunch of pickups and a whole bunch of switches, and they're all playing unbelievably. And I was just absolutely knocked out of my seat by this jam session that these three guys were having. So I had to investigate a little further. I was like, who are these guys? And it turns out that Elman is probably the most well-known. And I found out about how he was making all of these microtonal inflections as he was playing. Because I'm watching his fingers blazing away on the fretboard, and he's not bending any notes. But I'm hearing notes bending. I'm just looking and staring, and I'm realizing after a while that he was pressing down behind the bridge with his right wrist, the heel of his hand, the heel of the palm. And it turns out that all of these guys are playing an instrument called the Zolana Tornado, which was made in the Soviet-era Czech Republic. And this is the instrument that they all favor over there. The high notes on the guitar don't sound as high, and he's got this very robust sound. I'm going, what's he tuned to? And I looked at it really carefully, and I figured out that these guitars are tuned down a fourth. So the top string, instead of an E, is a B, which this corresponds to an instrument called the baritone guitar. The Bigsby tailpiece that it has allows you to get those microtonal inflections, so characteristic of Azerbaijani music, because they have music that has lots of microtonal intervals in it, as many Middle Eastern and Caucasus Mountain countries do. I should mention, Azerbaijan is on the Caspian Sea in the Caucasus region, surrounded by Russia, Turkey, Armenia, Georgia, and Iran. They have a bunch of neighbors. And they're a small country, but their capital city, where Elman is from, called Baku, is very wealthy because it is home to one of the longest lasting oil fields in the world. It was even known in the ancient world as a place where oil was extracted, okay? So on some of these videos, he improvises, interacts with other lead musicians like accordion players, violinists, who are all fantastic. And there's one that I particularly like where he's interacting with an older hand drum player who's playing an instrument called the nagara. It's in every video, every band that I've seen him play with has a nagara player as well as a drummer. It's like in Latin music, you always have a conga player, even if there's a drum set player, there's always congas. In Azerbaijani music, there's always a nagara. And Elman is just absolutely flawless technically, and he also has a tremendous amount of soul when he plays the slower stuff with all the microtonal inflections. It's really heartrending. And the music varies. I mean, some of it is very folkloric, some of it is kind of sentimental, like pop style, and some of it has some fairly elaborate jazz harmonies going on. So the keyboard player on some of these recordings, they're very educated in Western musical harmony. recommend that you check out as much of this guy's playing online as you could possibly find. There's tons of examples on YouTube, and I've put some of my favorite tracks of his on my Spotify playlist.